Hello everyone and welcome to the map Amygdala. And if you're like, wait, that doesn't sound familiar, that's because we're on the PTR, everyone. The balance patch has hit the PTR and at least one of these players is a dedicated viewer testing out the changes. Today's highlight viewer submitted matches starting off the upper right corner. A red Protoss, it is X-Thrill. And their Protoss opponent, a PvP to kick things off, it is Edward. Hoodies, because Edward surely was taken. I'm not sure names can be taken. Do we... StarCraft names, if somebody else takes yours, I'm pretty sure you still get it. I don't think it actually matters. Which means they did that by choice. Go them. A PvP starting things off on this fair, completely balanced patch. Yes, we did the talk. We went over the notes. I'm not going to get into that rant. Again, that was a lot of tangents, a lot of emotions in that one. Nope. Today's focus is on these wonderful players, these wonderful viewers. I did notice when I was loading up the replay that both of them looked like silver borders. That doesn't necessarily mean they're silver players, though. It just means they're currently silver on the PTR. They could absolutely be a variety of other options on the live game, but it stands to reason they still could be about silver. We'll see as the game progresses. When I think about some of the changes that Protoss in particular, I guess is actually, being a PvP does kind of simplify some of the changes that we could look at. We know there's no battery overcharge, so that's an immediate, flag. We know TEMPEST had some changes. Supply cost a little bit lower. They did get their anti-air range just a little bit lowered too, but overall not too bad. The big change though, the one I think probably most people should be excited about is that mothership change. Now able to attack multiple targets, dealing more damage in a multi-target situation. A little bit less in a single target, but realistically, who's picking on one pylon with a mothership? Come on. No. Other things, the Disruptor did get a hit, but not really in a PvP setting, because it still deals the same amount of damage, like versus shields in health total. Still deals that much, so Disruptors, we might see them. It's about it that I'm remembering right now. I'm sure anybody that wrote down every single change and got really mad about it will tell me what else I missed, I'm sure. For now, though, they're both going with some rather interesting choices, I see. There's no semblance of a wall for blue, which means the Adept is going to very easily get in here. The Stalkers will deal with it. Blue, of course, a bit more focused. Their shenanigans out on the map, perhaps. The Adept will get away, albeit barely. 3 health. Bit of shenanigans going on over here, though. Proxy Stargate, you say? Red, happily chronoing away. Getting that one gate starting opener added on the second one with blink. So, I'd say red definitely looking a little more normal, a little more textbook here. APM check. They're both doing pretty good. Okay, not too bad. Nobody's just sitting here playing the keyboard like a piano pointlessly. No, everybody's doing their stuff. The Proxy Stargate so far, decorative at best. Not quite there, because we're going for a fleet beacon. Now, my immediate question, of course, is what is it going to be? Probably Tempest, I hope. My second question, though, is you went through all of this effort to hide the Stargate, but then you put the fleet beacon here, where it's already been scouted. It's like, they're gonna see the fleet beacon, which means they're gonna know there's a Stargate somewhere. Okay. we have a cannon to help out. Defensive proxy situation. Of course, this is it's no longer a proxy Stargate, guys. It's a forward operating base. Okay. Very technical, very fancy. Absolutely. It's also very supply blocked. They're trying to warp into Tempest, but the supply is just not there. We didn't lower the supply cost of Tempest enough. We should have made them only 2 supply each. So that way, our dear friend here would be able to warp them in without the need of a pylon. Red, so far, not doing a whole lot of scouting around the map. They are controlling the watchtower up at the bingo base, because they themselves, I'm sure, are well versed in the art of bingo basing. So they're thinking about it. It's on their mind. Not really doing a whole lot else, though. They've added on a robo, getting some tech, adding on the scouting pylons. These are the pylons to which I can see my base, so that I know I'm not going to get a Nidus worm in this fair PvP matchup. You're like, wait, did he just say that? Yes, he did say that. I firmly believe that's what these pylons are for. Observer's going to go out. Well, that's at least something. We're getting a little bit of vision. It's going to the right place, too. Unfortunately, the cannon provides detection. Alright, well, the Stargate will be found. The cannon will help out kill off that observer. The Tempest will make their move, immediately picking off a few probes. Oh, we're gathering them up. Okay, the gathering storm. Red decides, I don't care about my base. I don't care about the probes. Instead, I'm gonna go for the power. These Tempest, guys, probes. You can move your probes. Oh god, we're gonna blink. We're blinking the stalkers around. We're chasing the Tempest. 4 Tempest is just not enough to actually one-shot a stalker, which is sad to see. But they're getting plenty of damage done with up against the probes. So I think they'll be fine. Oh, well, I don't think there's enough dead space. No, they can't. The stalkers can still reach. Recall's going to be initiated, Tempest. 2 of them will get out. Another one will be lost. So then the trade. 18 probes. That's a rather successful Tempest rush, I'll say. Not too shabby. Losing both Stargates does hurt a little bit, but I guess it's fine. They did save 2 of the Tempest. They still have their fleet beacon. Aren't you glad I didn't make my fleet beacon out there? Yeah, what am I talking about? What do I know? Of course. Well, the ground force is doing probably the worst move of waiting, because now blue is going to be able to get their defenses back up, get these Stargates rolling. They're going to kick off with Void Ray production, though. Reversion. We no longer need Tempest. I must fall back to my Void Ray roots. This confuses me. Like, why move them across the map if you're not going to actually apply any pressure here? Oh, you going? Is it go time? The Tempest will make the first shot. Charge not yet done for blue. It's a decent amount of Zealots, but up against also a decent amount of Stalkers. Blink has been researched, not really being used defensively too much. Void Rays will be here. Is it enough Stalkers? There's no forward warp in. The lack of Prism is really going to hurt here. Where is the... It's right here. The Prism is just sitting over here. What? Oh, God. So we're going home. Alright. And then we move the Prism. The Prism, it's not for reinforcing my army. And I goes, no. It's a harassment tool. Okay. Don't be silly. How could you think otherwise? 1 adept. Quick, cancel everything. You did try to take the bingo base. It's so Protoss. And Red knew it was coming too. Observer holding a great spot outside. I would like it just a little bit farther here to be able to cover that, because you can still see this. Totally fine. Just set it right here. This PTR map, I kind of like this map actually. I like the way this is set up. This is structured. You know what this screams to me? This screams Daybreak. And if you remember that word, if you remember that map, go you. This map feels a little like Daybreak to me, and I like that. I miss Daybreak. I miss the time of Daybreak too, when nobody knew what to do about anything. We were all just kind of hitting each other with 3 gates and harsh language. It was all good. Everything was fine. Everybody was having fun. The Prism is so far undetected and warping in a few zealots that are so far just kind of staring angrily. We know where the enemy is, but we're not quite ready to make our move. They're both taking thirds. Is it macro turn time? It might be macro turn time. I'm a little hesitant to speed it up though, because you know there's zealots in the main base. What's the goal here? What are we doing? Oh, we're warping in more. Wait. It's at the Prism. We needed 2 rounds. So you can move forward with no less than 8 zealots. Blue posturing within their own base here. There, go time. The zealots make their move. Unfortunately, blue had already moved into their own main base. They're pulling the probes though. Very well done. Good probe pull. The Prism, not really the focus, is going to get away. Oh, there's a planet down there. It looks very populated. Gross. Red moving their forces out on the map here. Blue just now taking this third base, just really getting it saturated. Do they transfer? Only a little bit. Only somewhat. Forces will clash on the far right side here. Did you get Storm? You got Storm. Who gets Storm in PvP? Well, actually, it's pretty good against Void Rays that are clumped up, I suppose. Not good enough. Now, they're working them down, though. They're starting to take some hull damage. I take it back. Up against clumped Void Rays, his Storm is actually pretty solid. It's the equivalent of the Protoss parasitic bomb, I suppose. Overcharge, non-existent. Have we seen any energy overcharges? I don't think so. There's not really anything that uses energy in this army. There is in this army, the High Templar. Quick, watch the Templar. Will they overcharge this one Templar? Probably not, if I had to guess. They may have done it previously when they warped in a few Templar. I'll have to try to keep an eye on it. Energy overcharge, of course, one of the new tools for Protoss on the PTR, able to restore 100 energy to a unit every minute. Just as long as it's near a nexus. It's the other battery overcharge now. It's overcharging somebody's battery instead of, you know, the shield battery. Stalkers being warped in, no more Templar, at least not yet. They're both kind of just moving up. This is unpowered and it bothers me. Put a pylon here. Oh, Prism will be spotted by the mothership. Oh, they'll get the Prism for sure. Tempest will clean that up. The Prism will fall. The mothership is here. This new and improved mothership, lads. Hopefully we get to see it attack. I love the multiple beams. The graphics, that's what I was really most excited about when I saw it. I was like, oh, that's a fun change. And go them for making a fun change. I like the idea. Not everything has to be super serious. Like that Thor change too. Come on. That's a fun Thor change. Somebody just wants to see more Thors and more motherships. And I'm okay with that. Nexus? Well, that really should have been canceled. You canceled the earlier one, but not this one, huh? Okay. Well, the blue army will at least give a little bit of chase. There's not really enough stalkers to contest this. What is it? 4, 8, 12. Where are the rest? Where are the rest of the stalkers? It said there were 22. I mean, maybe these ones warping in. This is a pretty good amount now. Plus Storm. I like the presence of the Immortals. But we're really missing a buffer. Both of them. Not really going for a good ground buffer. Things like Archons or a lot of Charge Zealots. Red's going to be able to maybe get a little bit of damage done here. Maybe pick off this fleet beacon. This pesky fleet beacon been a thorn in their side. Recall initiated. Will it be the whole army? Essentially the whole army. Almost of it. Forcing red to retreat a little bit here. Blue going to give chase. Quick storm. The storm of sass. Good luck outrunning the charged zealots with the Immortals. I'm trying to get back to the warp-in spot. My Templar warped in. Quick, energy overcharge. Give one of them storm. No, nothing. They would have to select the Nexus, and I don't think it's on their mind. Not looking too good for that. Alright, no energy overcharge. They're just going to be tired for a minute. Decent storm goes out up against the Void Rays. That is going to be, I think, the focus. Decent choice to make. The problem is now it's not just Void Rays there. There are 2 carriers here as well. And the Mothership helping out. Not really cloaking. I haven't seen them even use Time Warp, I think. They're just here for the attack. Oh, look at that. Look at all those beams. Cloak initiated. Is there any observer here? Looks like I see blue observers. There's one for red, but it is not here. Not at all. So they could be focusing down the Mothership, I suppose. Nexus will be destroyed, will be the target. Time Warp goes out. Again, well, you walked into the Time Warp. Decent storm. Everything's still pretty clumped up together. Mothership still kicking. They must have given it way too many health and shields in that buff. It's still here. It hasn't been picked off. Quick, blink 5 stalkers at it. The army of 4 carriers, 4 Tempests, and a Mothership. Quick, send 4 stalkers at it. That ought to do it. Oh my gosh. Turn these Templar into Archons. I no longer trust you with Storm in this setting. I mean, yeah, the Storm is decent, but it's just not enough. It's not working out here. Oh my gosh, they stormed themselves too. The Mothership is still kicking. Look at this attack. Oh my gosh. It's beautiful. But GG's gonna go out. I get to admire the Mothership's attack a little bit more as the victor is found here. X3, the red Protoss, choosing to storm both their enemy and themselves into oblivion. If I'm going out, I'm taking you with me, they say. I quite like it. Congratulations, of course, to Edward on the win here. Good usage of some of the changes. Seeing the Tempest reduce supply costs, they got to fit a bit more into the army. The Mothership, of course. I admired that attack multiple times. I don't think I really saw any energy overcharge from either one of them, but besides the point. That is not all for today, folks. We've got one more on the menu. For the second match of the day, we find ourselves on the 3v3 map Sentinel. Back to the live game. Forget all those pesky balance changes. Here we are with a team match, I'm sure full of its own shenanigans. Here, the upper left corner, the far left player, a light pink Zerg, Whoopee. Their blue Terran ally here, the blue SCVs belonging to EGO. Ego. I don't know. That's not player number 3. Here we are, the purple Protoss ally for them. It is Solid Tune. Far stronger than liquid music. What do we got now? Alright, good. Team number 2 here, the bottom right corner, yellow. Probes a carrier portrait. Is it an omen? Is it foreshadowing? It is Night Knight. Or as I would prefer, Night Knight. Their green Zerg ally, the Carbot Zergling portrait, winning so far for the portrait war. It is Paprika. Oh, we're back to number 1. What the heck? Alright. And lastly, wrapping it all up, another Carbot Zergling, albeit different Carbot Zergling. It is Teal Protoss, Speedy Rogue. Far stronger than Slow Outlaw. Terrible. I know. I'm sorry. Sort of. Only mildly. What do we got? Our breakdowns here. Team number 1, we got Zerg, Terran, Protoss. We've got Protoss, Zerg, Protoss. Alright. A little bit of representation for all. Not too bad. What will be the choices, though? Of course, team games. Now, wait a second. I thought I noticed. Yeah, Seon. They're all in the same clan. Ooh. Okay, so A little bit of clan wars going on here. A little bit of perhaps friendly shenanigans. Is this a custom game? Probably. Very likely. These are definitely not the normal breakdown of colors. It should be red, blue, teal versus like yellow, orange, purple, I think, for 3v3. So this is definitely custom. They set this up themselves, which means I really have no expectations for what's probably going to happen. It's team game. There could be cheeses, there could be rushes. Doesn't look like we're getting hit. Anybody's getting hit with anything right now. There's a lot of Protoss too, which means we're sure to see the classic team game Protoss compositions of choice. Void Ray, Carrier, and not much else. Remains to be seen. The Zerg player here, Green Zerg, seems to be going for a decent amount of Zerglings early on. Getting Ling speed. Not much else though. No Evo chamber in sight. Pink is opting to go with the good old triple hatch style, quicker lair. So even some Zerg discrepancies. Purple over here. What are they getting? Decent amount. We've got a Stargate. Okay, so multiple players. Both sides are going for at least a Stargate. Teal being a little bit of different here. Speedy Rogue going for a Robo. Where we have a ground toss, sky toss difference. The green is adding on a lot of Zerglings. They've got 2 hatches. Adding on a lot of Zerglings and sending them across. So green might be looking to do a little bit of damage here. They're going to move into pink's drone line. Immediately pick off the queen. The drones will be able to escape at least a little bit with their... The Terran closed the door. Let him in. What are you doing? Let the drones in. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait, the drones? They'd rather fight. We choose violence. We choose blood this day. We will try to help the Marines, but that's a lot of Zerglings. It's not going to work out. Wow, that was a slaughter. Green will pick off the hatchery. Might even be able to take this fight. It's a lot of Zerglings, though. Not with the Broodlings, for sure. They both have Ling speed, which means that's nullifying that advantage. Blue throwing away their Marines, though. They tried to open the door. They tried to let the drones in, and then went to battle, and everybody fell. That was a disaster. A good play, a good move by Green, though. Kind of pulling the trigger, going after this hatchery, going after this drone line. They could have kind of wrapped around, maybe sniped off this one, but I don't blame them for taking it easy. They're buying time, though. They recognize Green here, a little bit of intellectual perhaps. Maybe they organize this. Green is buying time for their allies because they've got 2 Protoss allies. And so far, those Protoss allies are going for higher tech builds. Well, they're picking off the pylon. The probes. The probes keeping out the hungry Zerglings from helping out with the defense. They'll be able to just kind of get out now. Skate away. Did it work? Did they buy time? Teal is working on that ground composition. Got a few stalkers out, taking a 3rd base. They're working on the Templar. Yellow, the team game Protoss composition, moving along steadily. I've seen Void Rays, multiple Stargates ready. Things are looking pretty good. Team number 2, that is. Team number 1 on the other side, well, Mr. Throwaway My Marines has a bunker here. Decent amount of barracks. Not a whole lot else, though. They're getting stim? No, combat shields. So they already get stim? They did not. Why? God, why would you get shields first? That's usually an aggressive move. Yeah. And I don't think you're ready. I don't think you're ready for that kind of ambition. Maybe they're just going to add another one on. Another tech lab to get that. +1. They're Protoss going for the Protoss composition. There's only one Protoss on this team, which means they get the full free license to go that Sky Toss light composition. Void Ray's on the way. Pink Zerglings coming to reinforce. The Ling Wars, making sure I don't get bored for the first few minutes here while everybody else makes way too many Void Rays. Terran player. They've got the 3rd CC on the way. It's already here. I mean, they're filling out all of this. Oh, they're making up. You already have one. Huh? No, it's economics, Indigos. Who am I? Who am I to stop that? The pink Zerg is adding on another layer. You already have a layer. Yeah, I think they realized. Not enough to actually cancel this one. What? The double layer shenanigans they'll never expect it. They'll destroy this one and think they got my lair, Indigos. But wait, the main base lair come in handy later on, I'm sure. Layer-ter on. Spire on the way. Will they be going for mutas? Will it be corruptors? Both of Green's allies are very Protoss. Neither one really moved out much at all. Oh, Teal did something. Teal threw something away. 20 probes fell. What the heck did 20 probes die to? I mean, they do have the bases pretty far outstanding here. The main base is looking rather depleted. I'm guessing somebody threw something away at least. 20 probes fell for Teal. That's going to set them back a little bit on their ground toss composition. Yellow just trucking along though. 0 losses, 0 participation, but hey, they've got 7 voids, okay, and 80 probes. So rock on. They're doing their thing. They're sitting here. They're playing the game. They've got carriers just about done. Flux veins just completed. Everybody's just kind of macroing up. Blue finished up shields, adding on stim now. Now, I'm wondering, how many racks? 5? You definitely can afford a little bit more than that if all you're making is Marines. At this point, I would probably consider adding on either a second factory or a second starport. Your choice. If you want to go for more siege tanks, like I would love that. Oh, the Banes. Getting a little bit of damage done here. Yellow's Nexus in peril will be destroyed. Did they lose any? They lost 16 probes to this attack. Was it the Lings? Was it the Banes? Who am I to know or care? Green's going to move in a little bit of counter damage. Lings go for this base. They should be able to get the Roach Swarm. Maybe a couple Evos. Blue is scrambling to get here in time to help out. The Lings from the attack come back to reinforce, but it is nowhere near enough. It's going to be up to the Blue Terran ally. Don't get my lair, please. No. Not my only lair. Well, turns out not a lot of the buildings really fell. They did lose a few more drones, a few more Lings. Kind of setting Pink's army back. They've got really just a few corruptors. That's it. Going for double spire shenanigans. Hive on the way for Green, who at this point really hasn't done much other than Zerglings. They're going for the dark, the Ling Ultra style here. Maybe. We'll see once the Hive is done. Oh, they have a Hydra Den. Hivedra. Really? That intrigues me. Maybe they're just a little worried about the amount of air that's coming out because, of course, pink and purple both are going for air forces. Mothership on the way for somebody. Not yet the new and improved version with the multi-target attack. But nonetheless, can still be scary. Forces are grouping in the middle here. Blue and purple seem to be ready to do something. Pink, it's not that they're not ready, they just don't really have that much. Holy Storm goes out. Teal with the ground pound toss army here going to get quite a bit of damage done on those Marines, forcing a stim to do just about the same amount of damage on the Marines. Pink once again getting a little bit of work done up against these buildings. We'll have quite a few pings over on the far right here. Teal going to be in a bit of peril now, bit of danger. Probes. The probes really not having a good day. Teal struggling. Terran army's moving forward. Come on, where are my storms? Decent one up front. Not the worst, not the best. The tanks really should be moving up forward. This is why I would have liked to have a second factory. Having a second factory gives you plenty of tanks to work with. Ooh, decent storms onto the Void Rays. We've seen that today already. Storm is a decent answer up against the Void Rays. We're gonna have to zoom out now. The carriers have arrived. Suddenly, Yellow makes their move with 12 carriers on the field. That is going to be nowhere near enough Terran to actually deal with that. Team number 1 undoubtedly in panic now, scrambling, going, the Protoss, the team game Protoss composition. Void Rays moving in, Corruptors from the left side. Will it be enough? Will they work together? So far the Voids are distracted fighting the Interceptors. The Lings are going to move in to deal with the rest of the ground army. And I think it should be enough. They should be able to get the carriers here. It's still plenty of Corruptors. The Archons have pretty much dismissed the Void Rays from existence, but the Corruptors will finish cleaning up the carriers, will reset the army completely. Zero army supply for yellow at this point. The Lings still getting an impressive amount of damage done. They are going for that Ling Ultra composition I mentioned. 8 Ultras in the production tab. Chaos just kind of erupts here. Corruptors spitting onto pylons, picking off the Observer. Teal struggling to keep their own buildings alive. A few Lings from pink as well, just getting a little bit of damage done here. Green on the other side, still getting some work done. Siege tank should be able to hold the defensive line. Marines versus Hydras will go very well for the Marines, thanks to that siege tank backup. Pink. Void Rays? Yeah, Void Rays are an excellent counter to Zerglings, you know, because the Zerglings cannot fight back. But Zerglings don't care, my friend. They're still picking off the probes. Total probe losses up to 28 now for yellow. Green losing 190 Zerglings at this point. Purple finds a hatchery on the far right side. We'll clean it up quickly, efficiently. Little danger to them. Everybody goes to their respective corners to lick their wounds, regroup, rebuild their army. Green, though. Quality choices here. Quality choices, friend. Ling Ultra. A little bit of Hydra in there just to help out with a little bit of anti-air. It's a lot of Corruptors. 20 Corruptors. They're really worried. The Zerg, of course, you have to feel sorry. Like, they've been scarred. They've been hurt before. It's a lot of Void Rays. Void Rays deal with Corruptors pretty easily. Pretty nicely, though. Just charge up that thick beam. They canceled the beam, too, to be able to move around quicker. I like it. I don't think you should take this fight, though. Gosh, Void Rays deal with Corruptors really nicely. Void Rays are the answer. Corruptor count gets high. You choose, you know, Archons, of course, always nice, too. Ultras do not care at all about the presence of the Banelings, just move right on in. I think at this point, you kind of lean away from the Zerglings. Yeah, you just go for Ultra Hydra. Purple, rebuilding mothership. This is we had a mothership before, right? Yeah, they did. Okay, it was them. The Protoss compositions returning. Void Ray count rising. Yellow's really just leaning into Voids at this point, though. I think they recognize with the Zerg building Corruptors, the other Protoss building Voids, plus the other Protoss building carriers. Void Rays will be a good choice, actually. I like the decision making. Knight Knight here, clearly showing why they have made it to the rank of Knight, no longer Knight Squire. Yes. Teal, how you doing? Check in with Teal. The ground army, looking not too bad. I love the immortal count. 8. Oh, give me a little bit more. Double-digit immortals, always a nice thing to see. Liberators here. Deep. That's a lot of stem for not a lot of combat. Oh, they're moving in somewhere. They're going after the Void Rays. They really want the Voids. They're not going to be able to reach a whole lot. Liberator, Siege Tank, Wombo combo will hold that door. On the other side, Carriers and Hydras clashing. No Microbial Shroud, and it certainly won't stick to them yet. I do like that balance change, though. Ling Ultra finally making it over here. Not caring at all about the Liberator. I love the completely unfazed by the Liberator. The Immortals desperately trying to help out up against the Carriers. You know which button was used. Probably just the number 1 key if I had to guess. The Ultras completely decimate the Terran army. And Marine Tank is shut down pretty well by Ultras. Do they have upgrades too? It's 2-2 Ultras with Chitinous. Oh my word. Yeah. Once Ultras hit the field, Marine Tank, not usually as good as we would like it to be. Have to start adding in things like Marauders, like Liberator, Siege Tanks. It's a decent amount of roaches here. Suddenly roaches. Pink just like decided, I no longer care about making corruptors. I am now the roach player. Which is going to work out mildly better up against the Ultralisks, I will say, but it's still a lot of Void Rays. Yellow's been cranking out the Void Ray composition to 7 Voids at a time. No issues with the army production here. Purple, with their carrier mothership combo, will deal with the ground toss pretty easily. This is why Protoss belong in the sky, right? Silly Protoss making ground units. Clearly not a Brood War enjoyer, a big game hunters player. Supposed to have infinite money and go for nothing but carriers, right? Green's Hydras do find Purple's Nexus all the way over here. Yellow struggling to deal with 1 missile turret. They will eventually get it, which means his base really should be evacuated. Pink is the first to tap out. Do they have anything? Not really. Trying to fight Ultra Void Ray with roaches. That sounds about right. So Pink is the first player to tap out. Things not looking good. Things looking pretty grim for team number 1 at this point. Green, the eternal Zerg struggle of please let me up this damn ramp. Trying to fit. You're trying to fit 47 Hydras up 1 ramp. I love it. Holy carrier, though. 15 carriers and a mothership. Not yet fully upgraded. They've only got 2-1. +3 attack is on the way. I think the combo together might be fine. Like the Hydras, they've only got +1 attack though. That's tough. I mean, the combination, all 3 of them together might be able to make it work here. Stalkers, Hydras, and Voids, they have to work together. They'll get out of there till your allies are not here. They're backing up. Blue and Purple still making a decent amount of work here. I think they feel confident because of the carrier count. And you can't really blame them. That's a lot of carriers. Well, the Voids will at least be able to run away. Not have to engage if they don't want to. Blue is the next to tap out, losing their army. Yeah, it's really just down to a handful of Marines here, which means it's going to be down to just Purple. Can Purple make this work? They've got a decent army, I will say. And Blue's production is still kicking in. If they get their all-army hotkey handy, they just bring everything all together, it might be okay, but the amount of Void Rays, the amount of Hydras still concern me. 27 Void Rays. Good gosh. And Teal's got 12 Stalkers. Now, they look at me, I can help. I have 12 Stalkers here. Carriers moving to engage the Voids. The Stalkers will be able to help out a little, but the Void's getting distracted, though. Things are going pretty well, I'd say, for the Protoss, for the carrier Protoss at this point in time, but at what point do you also just say, gosh, I'm 1v3ing? Apparently now. Apparently now is the time that I recognize, oh wait, I'm all alone. So, Solid Tune, the last to tap out with a respectable amount of carriers still. They didn't lose any in that battle. Honestly, I think things were going relatively fine. They cut through half the Voids without losing any carriers. I would have been really keen to see how this match continued if Solid Tune had not called it quits right there. Fought each player individually, they might have been okay actually. Nonetheless, a well-earned victory to team number 2 here. Green Ling Ultra player making it work throughout the early game, letting their allies build up way too many typical Protoss units. Round of applause. Thank you, of course. Submission, both submissions today. As always, enjoyable to see. I thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And as always, have a great day.